The very, very first thing that you have to have, that your team has to be good at, is how do you turn more contacts into conversations and quotes? And so the number one thing I'm going to tell you on the elevator pitch, and I'm going to give you a few examples here in just a second, is you have to assume the quote. Okay, the more you can assume the quote, the more quotes you're going to do. So when your team is calling those internet leads, or they're cold calling, or they're calling referrals, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, this is Michael from XYZ Insurance Company giving you a call today. We've been helping a ton of people out on their auto and homeowners insurance. I'd love to do the same for you today. Are you still at 123 Main Street? So who you are, why you're calling, straight into verifying information. What you are not going to do, you're never, ever going to ask, hey, would you like a quote today? Hey, your quotes came back great. You still in the market for insurance? Erase that from your vocabulary. You have to go straight from who you are, how you can help them. And I'm going to give you another hook real fast. Even though I don't sell based off of saving people money, and I would encourage you not to sell based off of saving people money, because look, how you acquire business is how business leaves you. So if you acquire business off of saving people money, they're going to leave you when they save money. But you have to hook something. You have to hook them. You actually have to get them interested in a conversation for you. So, hey, this is Michael from XYZ Insurance Company giving you a call today. Been helping a ton of people on their auto and homeowners insurance rates. On average, I'm saving people $675 a year. Are you still at 102 Main Street? So you see what I did there? I gave a big, bold claim. Now the claim needs to be truthful, but on average, what are you saving? You can get that from your company information. Now, once you get them to say, yep, that's my address, great. Then you're going to go into, and what kind of cars do you drive? Okay, they're going to say the cars. Then you go into the rapport building conversation. Now, this is the part of the process that so many people struggle with. This is the conversation because most people, most producers, most people that have never been trained, what do they want to do? They want to just verify information for the quote. The problem with just verifying information for the quote is you're not building any commonalities with the customer or with the prospect. You're not any different than the Geicos and Progressives of the world. If you just say, great, what kind of cars do you drive? Who are the drivers in the household? What are their date of birth? How many miles do you drive that car? Do you own or rent your house? That is boring. You're boring. You're not different. If you're not different, you're weak. If you're not unique, you are going to lose. All right. So you have to be different. You have to make sure that you are building rapport with the customer. So after I verify, hey, so what kind of cars do you drive? And they'll say something. I'll say, hey, so how long have you lived in the area? What do you do for a living? So kind of the four: family, occupation, recreation. You have to build rapport with the customer. And I understand on this multi-line sales conversation, a lot of you are like, I actually got to ask this weekend when we were presenting live. Well, Michael, how about when they try to rush you off the phone? Don't give them the opportunity to rush you off the phone. When they say, hey, how long is this going to be? Hey, I only need a little bit more information. So tell me, how long have you lived in the area? I don't say, hey, it's going to be 5 minutes. Hey, it's going to be, no, it's only going to be a little bit of time, Mr. and Mrs. Customer. So how long have you lived in the area? What do you do for a living? You go straight to the quote. Your job is to take objections and agree. I'm with you. I get it. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, this ain't going to last very long. I just need a little bit of information. How long you lived in the area? Bam, we get them right back to the sales process. So 80% of your time needs to be spent building rapport with the customer. This is probably the exact opposite of what a lot of you are currently doing. A lot of you are spending 80% of the time getting the information needed for a quote, and you're only building rapport, if at all, 20% of the time. You need to flip your mindset, flip this equation. 80% of the conversation needs to be about, hey, who are you? How can I help? What are you looking for? What do we have in common? People do business with people they know, they like, and they trust. 20%, get that information needed for a quote. The types of cars, the VIN numbers if you need it, the date of birth, all that good stuff, okay? Next, you're going to move on to the hot button. Now, the hot button is going to be the piece of the conversation that you're going to stick into the rapport building process. What has got the customer shopping today? And guys, look, I know this doesn't necessarily have anything to do with multi-lining right now, but it does, because the more you find out about the customer, the more information you have, the more powerful that is in making sure that you are going to be giving products that align with your customers. What's got your customer shopping? And look, I know that 99.9% of people, when you ask the question, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, besides price, tell me what's important to you. What do? They say, price. I'm just looking for a better rate. So this is your job as the insurance professional to, hey, I'm with you, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, and I'm going to give you the best rate I can today. But tell me, when it comes to the claim process, if you ever wreck your vehicle, what do you expect out of me? What do you expect out of the company? What do you expect that claim experience to look like? And they're going to give you a high-level answer. Well, I expect you to take care of it. Oh, great. Tell me what that means exactly. When you say me to take care of it, what does that look like? What is good claim service going to look like to you? So really dig in, all right? And I can't go into all this because we're on a short time frame here, but you have to dig in. Another one. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, I'm with you. I understand. I'm going to give you the best price I can today with the best coverage. But at the end of the day, my job is to make sure you're adequately protected and make sure that you're getting the customer service you receive. Speaking of customer service, what does great customer service look like to you? What are you going to expect out of me when you call and you have a problem or a question? What does that look like? Get them talking about things that are important to them and also what you as an insurance professional in your agency are great at, okay? You got to find the hot button or a pain point is what a lot of other insurance professionals and sales coaches out there will call it. So hot button, pain point. Then we go into qualifying the lead. So what you've noticed is look, you're probably 5 to 7 minutes into a conversation right now, and we haven't started the presentation. Price hasn't been brought up. You don't want to give price before you tell a customer why? Because you sell an intangible product. If you just start with price, that's all the customer is focused on. So you have to make sure that, hey, you're building rapport, you're getting the information needed to make sure your quote is updated. And then you qualify the lead. Mr. and Mrs. Customer, if I'm able to give you better coverage today for the same or better price, is there any reason why you wouldn't get started with us today? So you're fishing for those early objections. You're trying to figure out, hey, is he or she going to give me any objections when I present the price and try to go for the sell, go for the close? This is extremely powerful. Most people are going to say, nope, that sounds great. But you will get a few people that say, oh, I'll have to talk to my spouse about it, or I'd like to go talk to the other agent about it, my current agent. Right there, now this is not when you try to overcome the objection. You make a note. You already know, hey, when I go to close, they're going to give me this objection. I need to be prepared for it. So you are fishing for the objection. Insurance professionals have one of two ways to go now. You can either keep the customer on the phone and continue with going into the presentation process, or you let them off the phone and call them back. If you let them off the phone, you have to give them a reason to answer the call back. What I mean by that is, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, is there any reason why you wouldn't be available in 15 minutes to take my call? They say, yep, that works great. Or they'll say, no, give me a call at this time. Perfect. Whatever they say, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, again, I've got amazing news. Everything is looking amazing. Actually, in our conversation, it looks like you're going to be eligible for some more discounts. I really look forward to working with you. Mr. and Mrs. Customer, before I let you off the phone, can I get your word that you will not go with anyone before you hear from me? You are asking another confirmation question. Can I get your word that you will not go with any other insurance company before you hear from me? So for those folks that work internet leads, this is an absolute must if you let them off the phone. If you let them off the phone, you need to make sure you are qualifying them, okay? Let's move on. And I'll also say, if you let them off the phone, 15-minute callback max. You have to call them back in 15 minutes. So now let's get into the actual fun part, the presentation. Now, before I get into the presentation, I'm going to give you some tips. And these tips are to help lead us into that multi-lining masterclass that we're talking about today. If you want to set yourself apart from the competition, always quote more coverage, always quote more policies than they currently have. Apples to apples is trash. You never, ever want to quote apples to apples. If you're quoting apples to apples, all that means is that you care about the price and that you think the customer, that's all they care about. You're not doing your due diligence. You're not doing what you signed up for as an insurance professional. And if all you care about is saving people money, insurance is going to be an extremely tough career for you. Why? For example, over the next 24 to 36 months, what the data is showing is every insurance company, doesn't matter who you represent, is going to be taking steady rate increases due to our current environment. That's 24 to 36 months of extremely tough conversations if all you're concerned about is, hey, can I save you money? Insurance probably isn't for you if all you're concerned about is, can I save you money? They might as well just go with a Geico or Progressive. That's why you always have to give more coverage. And that's why you always have to give more policies. If you're not quoting more coverage and more policies, you are setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for failure if you don't do that. The whole job here is to set yourself up for success and set the customer up for success.